Have you ever used ChatGPT before?
Yes, I have.
Have you used it to cheat on assignments before?
No.
I think as long as it's your own ideas and you're putting it in your own words, it's all right to help out for some assistance.
I think more in my course it's used because it's so much easier to get away with.
You took a little while to answer that question.
Yeah, I don't think it's cheating unless you've like as long as you accredit it and use it for like a foundation for your assignment, I think it's fine.
Like English assignments, I know quite a few people used it. I do get chat to like explain stuff to me if teachers don't really explain it that well.
Some people abuse it and some people use it as a helpful tool.
Ever since ChatGPT and other forms of generative AI were released in late 2022, schools and universities have been scrambling to keep up.
I think it's something that kind of snuck up on everyone really quickly. It just was there.
Yeah, a lot of subjects are still scrambling and making tasks on the fly.
And when you look at all the systems that we've got in place, nothing was really preparing for it to come and take over as it has and be as prominent as it is.
The boundaries are a bit everywhere at the moment.
A bit about AI and history.
While lots of schools and some universities initially banned it, this was never going to be a long-term solution. And in December of last year, the Department of Education released a nationwide framework for generative AI use in schools.
At our school, mainly between the ages of year 9 to 11. I think that age range tends to push the boundaries a little bit more.
Maybe 3 or 4 assignments per submission. So per class, per submission, I'd be able to look at it and say, yeah, this kid's definitely done it.
Where a lot of them have landed when it comes to assessments is using some sort of AI detection software that students have to put their assignments through.
So we put it through Turnitin, which just basically detects if you've used AI or if you've copied off anyone else's work.
Yeah, it usually comes up with a percentage of what you've copied and then tells you what parts it thinks are copied. If it thinks a big section is plagiarised or from ChatGPT, you can go back and you can reference it.
So it's a requirement that everything that possibly can goes into that similarity detection software.
Professor Jenny Shaw is Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic at the University of Adelaide. She says while the uni embrace the use of AI, the software can still be used to, well, cheat.
Certainly any of the AI tools can be used for that purpose. So we're saying, of course, that is not allowed. And what we do when our students first start with us in first year is they complete some modules on academic integrity that now include use of generative AI. So we make it really clear to students what is okay and what is not okay.
For instance, using ChatGPT to churn out slabs of text for a written assignment would be considered cheating. According to Turnitin's website, the detection software used by the University of Adelaide, as well as many other unis across Australia, if they say there's AI writing, they're very sure there is, saying that they're committed to a false positive rate of less than 1%, so that students aren't falsely accused of any misconduct. But Faraz Ayub from the Australian Institute of Machine Learning isn't so sure.
So no, you can't trust. It's not 100% accurate. The funny thing about what will detect if an AI wrote the text or if a human is another AI.
He says over the last year, it's become a bit of an AI arms race. Companies who create AI chatbots want to sound more and more like humans, while the companies that make the AI detection software want to detect AI in everything. Ultimately, this leads to inaccuracies.
And there will be a lot of false positives. So accusing somebody that the text is written by a large language model, although they wrote it. And I saw a few cases. So this is another thing where we want to catch everybody, but then what happened is you are overshooting. You are also detecting things that you shouldn't detect.
This is backed up by a bunch of studies, which have analysed a lot of different AI detection softwares. One paper that compared 16 different AI generation detectors found that they all scored below 80% accuracy, and only 5 of them scored above 70%. They say while the software is pretty good at detecting big chunks of copy and pasted work from ChatGPT, when humans actually take the work and edit bits and pieces, they're only right 50% of the time.
You really don't want to to accuse a student who work hard on writing the essay or a text, and you become, if you are not cautious, or if you are very fast to adopt what the detector is telling you, and if the detector is wrong, it's not a pleasant experience for the student.
Do you know what? It can be an awkward conversation, but it's a conversation we'd much rather have, because if they're using these tools, like students used to use the old cheat sites, we would much rather that we found out and learnt from them what they've used, how they've used it, because then we're learning from that as well. And we also have a policy that we're trying to educate, not punish.
Professor Shaw says she understands that the software isn't completely accurate.
It's certainly not without its faults. So they will pick up a lot of false positives. So we would find probably 2/3 of anything they pick up saying there's some unacceptably high levels of similarity here is often just picking up patterns in language.
Do you guys trust the software? Do you think it's accurate?
Yes and no. It's AI, so it's evolving or whatever.
I've had a look at some of the turn-in submissions that I've had, and sometimes it just highlights single words, so it can be a bit inaccurate.
A lot of people put it through multiple different AIs so that in the end they can't detect it.
I just know people who've gotten away with it. Sometimes the program just won't pick up on it. If you change a little bit, then it's usually fine.
You can use ChatGPT and then you put it through other AI services, and it basically just scrambles it up and makes it hard for the other AI detectors to tell that you've actually used it.
It's pretty clear that generative AI is here to stay, and experts say the way we teach and learn has to change.
What we would have usually done is say, here's the content, learn it, apply it. We may not have to do all those steps anymore, but we still need students to have deep knowledge, so that's not going away. We need them to know how to use the tools in their profession, and again, one of those in many professions will now be generative AI, and we need them to be able to call out when it's wrong.
I think I see two versions of the future. I see one version where the detectors disappear. There's no need to detectors because we change the way we teach. We change the way we assess. The other version of the future, we might go there, that's no, we are very strict, we want you to learn, do the work yourself, there should be no help. In that case, you need the detectors, so there will be a huge market for these detectors, and it will become a race. That's a future where every 6 months we'll have different version, and I don't like that future. I prefer the first future.